I have been ghosted by my Jordanian boyfriend. I've been ghosted. I've been ghosted.
How do we get this low? You come over and we start a fight. Never know who's wrong or right. Feel nothing when you go. I know it's not intelligent, drinking for the hell of it, but that's irrelevant now. We should talk about us. How come we're holding on? Cause really I don't see the benefits now. When you've broken my trust, so I just wonder, why do I fall back to you? Really nothing I can do about it. Why do I fall back to you? It's like you're a drug to me, I can't quit. It's not like we're still 22, trying something new, just a pastime. I don't think that we ever could work this out. None of it makes sense, there's no reason why I still fall back to you.
My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free.
Ghosting. What does this term mean? Narcissistic ghosting is the act of suddenly ceasing all communication with one of their targets or victims, which includes lovers, children, friends, and/or colleagues and acquaintances, for any given period of time lasting from a few hours to a few years.
So what is ghosting exactly?
Ghosting is what some people call it when a person just disappears from your life with no explanation. There are many stories of people simply disappearing without a word. They never call, they never write, they never come back.
It is the easy and cowardly way to dump someone, often used by people who lack in interpersonal skills.
It is such a coward freaking move. Like, these people are cowards.
Ghosting is the narcissist completely withdrawing, treating you like a ghost, like you don't even exist. You're going to maybe notice they're going for long periods of time without talking to you, shutting you down, not including you in things that they're doing. Possibly they're going missing. They're not calling, they're not texting.
We've all heard variations of the story of the parent or the spouse who said they were going to the store and just never came back. Sadly, that's not an urban legend, and if you've dealt with pathologically narcissistic people, you know they are very capable of that type of callous cruelty. I remember a story someone told me about their narcissistic father. He ghosted his family on Christmas of all days. He just left. He left a note in the bedroom saying he had a new girlfriend, a new life, and he was never coming back. Ruining Christmas for his 4 children did not matter to him at all. Maybe it even made him happy to ruin Christmas, but more than likely it never even occurred to him how the other people would feel at all. Your feelings or how this might affect you are not important.
Trust me when I say, the second the narc laid eyes on you and selected you as a target, they knew that you were going to be dumped.
So I've known this guy as long as I've been here in Jordan. I met him as soon as I got here. We were getting close and making plans on getting married and being together. And then I haven't seen him in 2 weeks.
So many victims are often caught off guard by this dumping phase, especially when you really have no explanation as to why.
If a narcissistic person has ghosted you, you are very likely confused and very hurt. And even worse, you might not even know why.
I have no idea why. Like, I just don't understand why. Like, what did he get out of it? Like, the relationship wasn't sexual, you know? We never even went there. He himself said he wanted to wait until after we were married. So I don't have anything to go off of, like, to make me think that I was being used, you know, or being taken advantage of.
Narcissistic ghosting and silent treatment both hurt the victim tremendously. The selfish narcissistic ghosting affects the target or victim catastrophically because it doesn't give the victim or the target any closure. Instead, they are left in an ambiguous state because they have no leads on what went wrong. It could be anything, which in result causes a lot of worry and fatigue. The target or victim is unsure if they should be worried for the narc's safety, feel disrespected, or both.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if he's okay. I don't know if he's in danger. I don't know if he died. I don't know if someone... I don't know what to think. I don't know how to feel. I don't know if I should be worried or angry or sad. I don't know.
Now, if you're romantically involved with a narcissist, as many of us here are or have been, you will definitely be familiar with the narcissist 4-step relationship cycle. The idealization and love bombing, the devaluing, the dumping, and the discard. Now, it doesn't matter how many times you've been through this cycle with them. You may have been with them 20, 30 years and have looped through this cycle over and over again. How does a victim know when the dumping phase is underway? Well, it's ghosting. Ghosting is always going to be the narcissist's first step into the dumping phase.
I feel like somebody who can ghost someone and just disappear out of the life after promising a life together, that is the most despicable thing.
You've noticed that you're kind of, in a position where you are being devalued, and now all of a sudden there's these huge gaps where they just seem emotionally unavailable, physically unavailable. They don't want to talk to you, or they've just plain gone missing. This is ghosting, and this is always going to be their favorite maneuver as they work into the dumping phase.
Ghosting differs from the silent treatment because generally the silent treatment refers to someone who's still in your life and often still in your home. The point of the silent treatment is also different than the point of ghosting. The silent treatment is a form of punishment and manipulation. Ghosting is more like the narcissist's way of going no contact with you. Their intent is to erase you. It's most often used as a way to discard people, and many people never see it coming. In a relationship, there always comes a time when you realize the other person is not perfect, that they have flaws, that they make mistakes, and that they do things wrong. Nobody's perfect, and everybody has flaws. This is absolutely not acceptable to pathologically narcissistic people.
Now, for many of us that have been in real relationships with real human beings, the relationship, when it starts to tire or near its end, typically two sane people sit down, they have a little talk, and kind of come to a happy resolution that both are going to be happy with. And if terminating the relationship is what it's going to be, well, as civilized people, that's the direction we take. This is never going to happen with the narc. There is never going to be a dumping conversation. They're never going to come to you and say, look, I'm emotionally vacant and this intimacy is freaking me out, or none of that. It's not going to happen.
We want closure. Like, we want to be able to say, hey, okay, this is what it was, and have something that we can apply and move on. I think it's very cynical and very evil when they intentionally don't give you closure. That's very narcissistic. It's a very narcissistic move. I would much prefer them to just come to you and say, hey, look, I've had a change of heart, or, it's just not working for me. You did something that kind of turned me off, which is kind of like hard to believe. Like, how can I turn somebody off? Like super sexy, like, oh, wow, like, I think so. I think I'm sexy. He totally is sexy. So you know what?
They are people who are very extreme, and there's no in between with them. This is the relationship progression with a pathologically narcissistic person, and many times if they can find another person who believes they're perfect, they will leave or otherwise abandon the relationship. You recognizing them as a human being is taken as a betrayal. To them, if you don't see them as perfect in every way, you obviously don't love them. How could you when only perfect people deserve love? This is the way the narcissist sees it. Now you are no longer perfect either. It's the same with every type of narcissistic relationship. Your value to them is only what you can give them.
Now, what sorts of things are going to start them on their path to the dumping phase? Well, maybe you've been asking them questions. Maybe their behavior has raised enough flags that you've tried to confront them or ask them, hey, bud, what the fuck's going on here? That's enough to send them into a tailspin. If you've been questioning their lies, if you've been questioning their absences, if you are refusing to comply with their demands, if you are still staying connected to friends and family and associates, and my God, do they want you isolated, so this can get them moving in a dumping phase.
Narcissists are afraid of many things, but they may fear being exposed more than anything. They live their entire lives trying to deny what they believe they really are, and they live in fear that this will be discovered. Their primitive and immature defense mechanisms cannot cope with the shame of this exposure. It represents death to them, sometimes literal death. If they believe you're going to see through them or that you have, they may simply disappear in order to escape the shame. Their facade is for them, remember, not you. You're just a mirror to the narcissist. If they feel you've seen through their facade, you no longer reflect the perfect self they want to see, but instead you reflect the defective self they're trying to hide. You've become a reflection of their failure, and they cannot face that. Many of them will simply run to avoid it. You might have noticed that I've not mentioned what it is that someone might have done to cause a narcissist to ghost them. That's because this behavior isn't about anyone but the narcissist. It's their fear and their need that caused this behavior, not things other people have done. That's the difference between ghosting and no contact. No contact is not done out of fear or out of indifference. No contact is asserting a boundary against abuse or toxicity.
There's a million reasons why they do it.
Maybe they've found someone else to feed off of for a while.
But the biggest reason is that 4-step cycle. It's always going to be the same. Idealization, love bombing, devaluing, dumping, discard, and they just keep looping and looping and looping. They don't like the cycle, but they can't stop the cycle. They are very, very much slaves to this insidious, disgusting behavior. You know, I went through that cycle with Trevor many, many times, and I'm here to tell you, if you're getting hoovered right now and you're free and you're thinking maybe they've changed, I'm here to tell you they haven't. And every single time you go back, it gets worse and the shit hits the fan much faster every time. Why? Because they know exactly where your level of tolerance is. They know exactly what buttons to push. They know exactly where to hurt you. They know where your soft spots are and where your vulnerabilities are. And that's what they want to do. They want to get supply. And the best way to get supply is to hurt you.
One by one, soon you're at the door that you're gone. Are you really happy alone? But you say nothing at all, nothing at all, nothing at all. I know that you have your reason. I know I was standing here, darling, I know. But before you go,
The sudden ceasing of all communication has dual purpose for the narcissist, which include 1. To cause distress and pain to the person they are ghosting, and 2. To use the given time or break from their target or victim to either groom a new target or victim, or return to a previous victim or target in order to hoover them back into their abuse love cycle, which includes 1. Idolization, 2. Devaluation, and 3. Discard. Who really gets enjoyment from purposely and repeatedly hurting someone? Psychopaths and narcissists, that's who, because they lack empathy. The narcissist means you harm when they ghost you, but it is the intent that makes the narcissist evil. Narcissists get enjoyment from doing this just cause. No reason other than the enjoyment of your pain and suffering, while getting false validation that they are superior.
Narcissists are all about control. It's all they're about. They just have to be in control.
It's all about control and being in control when it comes to the narcissist.
accept it, except you have no power over it at all. And the best thing that you can do, if it is at all possible, is to get the fuck away from the creep. Absolutely. Male or female, they're all the same absolute pieces of shit, and you will live wallowing in misery and emotional pain every minute you stay with them.
Narcissistic ghosting usually takes place right before a big event in the target or victim's life, or if the target needs major assistance from the narcissist, or if they believe you are not a primary or good source of supply, or a fight or an argument has taken place and they use this as an excuse to run out for a few hours, weeks, days, years, months, I don't know. Or if the target or the victim made the narcissist work really hard for them to successfully hoover them back in. In the latter case, the narcissist will wait to confirm that they have you back in the palm of their hands, and then they will immediately ghost you as a payback or punishment for making them work so hard to get you back into their harem.
The reality is, it's just a looping cycle. So if there is any way in hell that you can get out of there, do it. I'll tell you, leaving was very, very hard for me. I did love Trevor very much, but I'm going to tell you, being free of him and knowing, absolutely knowing in all of me that I have seen that horrible man for the last time, knowing I am never going to be subjected to that again, knowing I'm free from that abuse has been absolutely liberating. And losing your freedom certainly makes you aware of your freedom once you get it back. They need to be in that constant supply grab, and if you're wising up to them or you're starting to set boundaries or question them about their behavior, this will lead very, very quickly to dumping and, starting with ghosting.
Now, it should be said that just because a narcissist ghosts you doesn't mean they'll never contact you again in your life. They very well might when they need something from you, or in a weak moment when they feel there is nobody else available. This is because negative attention is better than none at all. It's not out of the realm of possibility for a pathologically narcissistic person to go back to a former victim for attention when their current ones are not available or satisfactory anymore, even if it's been months or even years since they last had contact with this person.
There has to be a dramatic, extreme excuse. Like he was in a car accident, he's in a hospital, and no one knew you to contact you type of ordeal. Outside of that, there is no excuse for this.
Is there any way to save it? Is there any way to help them? Is there any possibility of them getting better? Of them kind of waking up and snapping out of it, And I remember saying to Trevor many times, it's like you're in a trance, like wake up, but fight your way back. The narc is going to take absolutely everything that's important to you, including themselves.
In the end, ghosting leaves people with unresolved feelings, pain, and many, many questions. You might have dodged a bullet though, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. Many people have reported that even though it was painful and confusing at the time, they later realized that the narcissist leaving their life was the best thing that could have happened to them.
Don't wrestle with pigs. They like it. Want to know what the best revenge on a narcissist is? Ghost them back. Or, if your circumstances can't allow for you to do so, go Grey Rock. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives.
The way to stop being dumped is to do the dumping and get the fuck out of there.